Awesome. Welcome everyone to the late night show. You know what? You might be watching this tonight. We're not by no means. First of all, Dominic, this is not a podcast.
Yeah, I heard that, Jay, once or twice before, that it's not a podcast. It's a live streaming event.
Yes.
And sometimes not even live. But it's
we're not saying that. Why would you ruin that for the people that are going to be watching this later?
Oh, this is going to be live.
That it's during the day. We say late night. They do that. Jimmy Fallon does that too. They record during the day.
He's a punk.
He's got nothing up on us. No, nothing at all. No one does the late night restaurant show at all.
Yeah. And we have a lot of fun on our late night show.
We do. We have a great guest today. We have a great guest, and we also have a disclaimer that has to go up here, just so we make sure that you don't listen to us and believe what we say, because we're just a couple of schmucks doing.
Well, some of the stuff is true. Like I think they're not official statements or views of our sponsors or our guests, right? Like our views are our own and our own personal.
We're pretty smart though. Yeah, maybe
our guests are awesome.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. No, but this is it's a good disclaimer.
It's not a disclaimer of our sponsors.
No.
And our new pop line.
Yeah. Our views are our own personal views.
Yeah. And if you like our new pop line coming out this spring, follow up on that.
Are we going to show it? Are we going to have our own commercial showing our pop?
Yeah, we're going to get a pop.
We'll have the SafeCheck and the late night restaurant show truck pulling up and passing the Coke truck.
Look at these pop cans we have coming out, right? Now, I do think, and I'm not official yet, this might be the first podcast pop line ever.
The first good one for sure.
Well, yeah, but I don't think anyone else has ever done that before.
No, not even close.
No. So there. So you'll be able
to... All those non-podcast pop can lines are not real pop.
We'll just sell it on Amazon.
I think we'd do well on it.
I think we would too.
Look at the graphics. I met a person yesterday who bought wine and beer because she liked the labels, not because...
I do that. All the time. You don't have to go far. I do that too. And I'm drinking my specialty today again.
Wow.
Anyways, we have a great guest. She's a rock star. She's a consultant. She's everything that I love talking to, these kind of people and amazing people like this within the industry. You know what? They are there to help the industry. And I'm excited. But first, Dominic, what are you doing April 8th to the 10th coming up?
Me and a few people from our office will be at the RC show in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So we'll be at the Enercare Center, Jay. The Restaurants Canada show. It's the event of the year. If you come to our booth, you're going to get a cool lunch bag, and I should be showing it because it's the hit of the show.
We might have pop.
We might have pop. We're going to have
our new pop.
Bill Marler from Marler Clark and Poison is going to be there.
When you say Poison, you got to tell. It sounds like the Rock Band.
Well, you met him. The movie Poison from Netflix.
Movie Poison that's on Netflix right now.
There we go. I think that's what we have to say. From the Netflix movie Poison.
Yes.
Bill Marler's going to be there. He's going to be talking. Yeah, I think on the 8th.
You're going to say that Google thing or something like that. No, it's the Netflix. You go to Netflix, you can watch Bill's show called Poison. That's how you do it.
And it's about food safety and people getting sick. But we're bringing him to that show to speak at the Restaurants Canada show. There's the bar in here where I'm doing a commercial for the Restaurants Canada show, but there's the bar and beverage expo is right behind where our booth is, and that's always fun if you get a chance to come down there live.
If you get her pop by then, Dominic, you're gonna have to slide some over to the beverage space.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, just throw it over. Just put it in by accident. Just throw some over there.
Don't put it by accident. They're going to want it. They're going to be clamoring for it.
Fruity tooty. Anyways, let's play the commercial for the Restaurants Canada show. Then we're going to invite our guest in because we don't want to waste her time today.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great show. And this is live, folks. So please don't think that we recorded this earlier today. This is live right now. So please send us questions or comments and enjoy the show. But here's a little message from our friends over at Restaurants. Canada.
Yeah.
Do you think they intentionally do the boom at the end?
Yes, that's
Okay.
intentional.
Is that
It's not an accident, guaranteed. we
Anyways.
didn't add it in. I don't think we added that bump in it, did we?
No, we didn't add the
No,
boom.
we didn't.
Anyways, well,
We're
talk
pretty creative,
about
right? We've got Canada's restaurant guy and a creative genius on our show. It's Jay. It's you.
Yeah. Anyways, no.
And then we have another.
We have an
Julia
awesome guest
joining
here. It's all about the guest, though.
Of course.
All
I'm
about the
going to
guest.
introduce
Anyways,
her.
you go ahead, because So just so you know, Christine, I usually screw up people's names. So Dominic, please go ahead.
Thanks for Christine. Thanks for adding your name to the bottom there. But Jay, Christine Smith from CS Consulting 101. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Christine,
Yeah,
you
we're
ever
gonna have
had
a
an
lot of
intro
fun.
like that before? Or not?
Man, I tried to think of something witty to say just now, and I got nothing. Yeah, that
You got
was
nothing?
So no, you never have. Okay.
Okay.
We win again, Jay. You hit it out of the park. You got a great guest. Christine, tell us where you're joining us from.
I am chiming in from Asheville, North Carolina.
Cool. Okay. Welcome.
Asheville, North Carolina. Is that in the north part of North Carolina or in the south part? Or are you close to the ocean?
No, I'm not close to the ocean.
Okay.
I'm up in the mountains.
Oh,
That's the good part, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that area. So Dominic, are you there? What are you doing?
I am. I'm
You
looking
can't
up.
work.
I'm
Quit
looking up
working.
Asheville. I'm looking up Asheville, North Carolina, because
Anyways.
now I want to see where it is. Christine, tell us a little bit about CS Consulting. What's the CS stand for? First.
If it's not a given, it's my name.
Okay.
Christine Smith. Consulting. I mean, because I'm a consultant. And then 101 because it's like get down to the basics, like business 101. That's how I came up with the name.
That's cool.
And it's me. I'm the best. It's not like I have this conglomerate behind me. It's me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, a lot of times. See, and here I screwed up I typed in Asheville North Consulting versus Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh man, and I hope I pop up.
I was gonna say that she pops up anyways. It's
No,
okay.
yeah, I got that as well, but I wanted to see where it was located.
So
and
Christine,
a second
let's talk about. I think one of the things that was drawn to me was the fact that you talk really around this building relationships and building this industry and helping restaurateurs really connect with their guests and building this hospitality world that we live in. Can you share some of that vision you have? And I found that really cool about when I connected with you and found out a little bit about you. But let's talk a little bit around that and what you feel is important when we get into this whole new industry that we kind of live in now.
Are you open to me showing you in an experiment?
Yeah.
Yes. This is okay. First of all, Christine, we've worked out this week on the show. I think Tuesday we had a workout lady, right?
Well, we didn't work. We had a little.
We didn't
bit of
work
a
out.
but we didn't work out. But yes, we're open to an experiment.
We're open up. We've had a lot of fun this week, anyways.
Wait,
Sorry.
but the first question: are we going to get hurt? Because
Yeah.
if it's we're gonna get hurt, then no.
The safety
It
guy
might,
gets a little nervous.
might be a mental mind blown, but it's
Yeah.
it's a good exercise. Okay.
Okay, go
Cool.
for it. Let's do it.
I like to give experiments and showcase because again, it's all about connecting.
Yeah.
And it's much more fun when we do it this way rather than telling you how I do it. Okay.
Okay.
So if you were to, let's say hypothetically, you were to open the show and you said, Christine, how are you today? Would you like me to be honest with you, or would you like me to be nice and just say I'm fine?
Well, I would say honest, but for the sake of the show,
yeah,
for the sake of the show,
Well,
we
I
probably
think-
want. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Right?
right. That's generically like that's what we do, right? There's no need to get into logistics of how we're really feeling, right? There's a time and place for that and all the things. And in business, I find that to be very important to bring an awareness and a sense to the table and how we approach business.
Love it.
So if I wanted to be honest with you, I would say I'm emotional, excited, and nervous.
Wow.
Okay. Right? Okay. So in relation to how I do that with clients and how does that transpire into helping a business, it goes into, well, I can break it down into operations. I can break it down into sales, your training, your hiring, all the things. But realistically, like when I go to a business and I look at their business and I can see, I can almost see the areas of improvement. I first ask, how is that person showing up in their business personally? Why did you make the choice that you made? Were you under stress? Were you under pressure? Were you nervous? Did you not understand what you were getting yourself into? That's the level of work that I do.
Cool.
And I believe
that is it hard to get them. Sorry. If that's the level, like, how long does it take you to get them to be honest? Because nobody wants to. Oh, you really?
I
think people want to be though. Like, right, Christine? Like, I think most people want to be. It's just the fact that we tend to probably defer people from giving us those answers. Like, we don't want to hear Dominic's having a crappy day. And this really, internally, I really, we care about him, but do we really want to hear that? Because now I got a commitment of more time to listen to how bad his day is and everything else. Right?
You're right. And there's a time and place. There's a time and place. There's a trust factor. Being professional. There's times to be professional and carry out through your workday. And then there's still that time to incorporate those things. And those are skills taught over time. It's very easy. And it's, we like to, like, let's think of terms like characteristics like passive aggressiveness. Or dismissive, non-empathetic, right? And so if I were to, when you ask that question of how long does it take me to get them to that point for them to open up, I do that by a few tricks I do. First, I got to understand that I gotta ask them questions. Are you okay with me asking you personal questions? And if they say no, I gotta respect that. And then I'll switch gears somehow.
Okay.
Right. But it's getting them to realize I want the operator to think differently on how they're doing their business. And to really bring in their own self-awareness into how they're showing up in their business and not only treating themselves in their business, but their team and their customers and all the things. Does that make sense? You guys are thinking.
Well,
yeah, well, you got me thinking.
I'm still stuck on
Dumpster
Like
alone.
people hire you for a reason, right? That they want you. Well, maybe I'm going to go back one step here. Who hires you? And
Who hires me?
And
Yeah,
what are what's their? What do you see as the biggest reason, the most common reason that people come to you and say, "Hey, Christine, we need your help"?
It's a mix.
It is.
Okay.
Next, because look again, like I can have, like, let's say for example I'm in a networking event and I hear people expressing their problems in their business, and then they go share their problem. When they open their mouth and start sharing their problem, I can actually see through the BS in their story they're telling by understanding human behavior.
Okay. Good. Tell us more about this. This is fun. I love this stuff.
So I'll give you an example. If I were to hear, okay, who's going to hire me? And I overhear a conversation, or someone's in conversation with me and saying, Christine, I'm hiring people and I can't keep them, or I'm going to have to shut my business down because I can't afford it to do it anymore. I actually don't believe anything that they told me. Like at first I'm like, okay, I hear you that you believe that's the problem. And I'm going to guess that there's something else going on to help solve the problem. So it don't matter what problem they come at me with. I'm going to get them to a level to get them thinking differently and show them other opportunities that they may not see themselves, because they're in their business day to day. Like, you can't blame them for that.
Yeah.
How many people do you think just does that because they're just not in the right mindset, or they're in the right mindset of business in a sense? Like you said, I hear that too. Oh, I can't do that. But yeah, you can, right? Like we have 2 words this week we learned. You can't use the word can't, and you can't use the word try, right, Dominic?
Yeah.
And it's on there. And I find a lot of people say that, and like to your point, Christine, like it's hard to believe that, right? It's, I can't do this, or I can't do social media, or I can't have a podcast. Like, yeah, you can. So how much is that? Do you find do you derail them doing that, or making them just think differently?
No, I let them voice what they believe is true, and then I ask them questions. I don't, you just showed me the words on your sticker note that you have. I actually don't believe that telling someone that they should do something.
Okay.
I don't.
That's cool too.
I kind of agree. I think to our other guests that's talked about that, she wasn't saying that they had to do anything.
Oh, I did that.
What she was getting to is, I think what you're getting to is, I want you to just stop for a second and try and think a little differently, or at least not think this. And then let them, you ultimately want them to come to their own conclusion, right? Because until they believe it, you could tell them everything under the sun, but it wouldn't matter until they start believing that change is possible, or that there's another way, or whatever, wherever you're trying to go, or whatever you're trying to open them up to. If they're not open to it, it doesn't matter what the words are. It doesn't matter how much you motivate them. That's why I was asking, like, who is it, and what brings them to that? I need your help. Like, is it because there's a breaking point? Is it because they want to try new things? Is it because you're advertising, or you're networking with the right people that are open to bringing somebody in? Because Jay says it all the time. Every business probably needs a coach or a mentor of some kind, or somebody that's honest enough to bounce stuff off of, versus just taking it on all themselves, because that often doesn't work.
Yes. So generally speaking, they're in a state of confusion, frustration, feeling like they've tried everything under the sun, generally. And I ultimately don't want anybody to get to that stage in their life, not myself included. But it's up to us to see what we value. Do we love ourselves enough? That's what I like to say. Do we love ourselves enough to invest and help with ourselves? Because no matter what kind of business we have, we're still our own person showing up in our business. And you're right. It is a mindset thing. Like, this is the level of work I do with people. It's not surface level shenanigans, but you gotta be at least somewhat aware of self to know that what I'm doing is not working and I want better for my life.
So Christine, when you work with customers, how long does it take usually? And maybe you're in the process of this, or it's maybe all over too, but do you see people improving and stuff like this with these simple, like, because at the end of the day, it's not hard. It's more or less getting them to get on that and follow that. Do you see those changes happening more and more? Like, are people more, hey, this is what I needed? Because I believe everyone needs one of you. Everyone needs a coach and a consultant in their business.
I do see a change, and I can actually see it after one phone call. Yes, but it's not. And in terms of like actual data results, I'll be transparent here. I'm not quite sure what that looks like yet, because I've been doing this in smaller doses, and so yes, things are changing with them personally, but to actually see the data-driven results in terms of an ROI, in terms of a monetary value such as money, that I believe happens over time, because not only when I say after one phone call, it has happened before. It has happened after one phone call, just like yourself, Jay. You're like, oh, wow, I'm thinking different, right? So it's already happening after one phone call. Yeah. Now, it's a matter of when they get off that phone call, did they really value that enough? Want to keep going? That's up to them. And I'm not going to chase them. I'll be there to support you. I'll be here to be, your reminder of, hey, how did that feel for you? How are you feeling? All the things. But it's up to them, And so when I say after one phone call, yes, it happens after one phone call. But then what needs to happen is a lot of it's almost rewiring the brain, because we're so, myself included, I didn't get here overnight. I had to practice this stuff myself over years and experience and all the things. It takes time. And I'm seeing the results of my own labor now with my own business, some of it takes time. And so when I hear even objections like, what's my ROI? I love that one. I say, well, what do you value?
That's good. Yeah.
You're not going to see monetary gain in terms of dollars right away. This work can go into any department of a hospitality business. It goes with not only themselves, but into their departments operationally as well. Like when, how many times do you guys see an ad on LinkedIn or whatever, I'm hiring, and you go read it and you're like, well, where did that come? It just doesn't make sense. And it's because something in the back end of what that person's doing, creating that ad, they're not right. Something's not right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does. And I think more and more, I think it just concretes my comments, Dominic, is that everyone needs a coach and support in this industry. Because first of all, people in the industry, I find a lot of them just really never got this support before in their life, let alone in their business, right? Yeah. And I think working more through this, like Christine, to your point, you're probably feeling a lot more better yourself in a sense of with your new company and fairly new company doing this. You probably see a reflection back on yourself as well as improving as you help improve others.
Yes, I can actually remember. Yes, thank you for mentioning that. That is very true. And I can actually remember thinking back, reflecting on past experiences, and I can actually remember being a hothead 20-something-year-old just out of college, bartending at a cheeseburger in paradise, doing the damn thing, and realizing, wow, those managers, I didn't need to take that personally. That manager was doing the best they could with what they had. I don't blame them. You know what I mean? We're just human. Yeah. We're human. This can work for any business, but God knows us in the hospitality business, it's so fast paced, and I don't blame you for getting in your head and blaming someone and this and that. No, slow down.
What do you find as those? What are some of those things that you find restaurants are challenged with? Is it fine that just doing that time, like you said, labor earlier, and I'm like, I don't believe there's a labor problem. I think there's a problem telling people that there's an amazing industry to work in, and people just, I think that's the way we've marketed it today after COVID, and I don't think we have a hiring problem.
No,
that's my point of view.
No, and you know, this level, I joke sometimes because I feel like I'm a therapist, and I'm like, I'm a therapist for your hospitality business, you know, and so it's
I love it.
It's a communication problem.
Yeah, I think it is. I agree with you, and I think the more and more that we get people talking about it and finding out that we don't have a problem, we have a problem telling people how awesome it is. And we come up with TV shows, we come up with all these different comments about how tough it is, how you don't make any money at it, and you work late hours, you possibly get a divorce, all these different things. We don't romanticize the industry anymore. And if anything, we try to romanticize it based on how tough it is, right? Like, and that's kind of not really helping in a way. No. But I don't, and then, you know, there's all these other reasoning behind that statement. I just don't believe it. I believe that there's people out there. We just not have tracked them into the industry.
And, right? and that's true. That's so true. You know, I can remember even years back, I wasn't this confident talking about this kind of stuff. I would hold it inside and not want to share it myself. Like, who am I going to trust this leader that my leader that's supposed to be this leader who's not leading the way I envision a leader to lead? And then I feel like there's not a safe space to say it. And so I hinder my own skills, my own voice. And over time, guess what that does to the individual? Like, we become less valuable of a person because of someone else's interaction with us that we didn't know any better what to do with it at the time. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
So the question there is, how did you get past that? How did you personally get past that to embark on this journey? Now you are here where you're helping people. What was the turning point?
Thank you for asking that. It took a lot of self-development skills. It took a lot of work on myself to do this. I used to beat myself up. I used to be a very quiet person because I thought that my voice didn't matter. And, you know, a lot of people talk about trauma, whatever, but it matters, right? History matters. Just like we were talking like in the beginning of the show, history matters. It's how we got to where we are today. And so I had to do a lot of soul searching myself. I had to reevaluate my own life. And having very strong mentors in my life was a game changer. Game changer. Like 10 months ago, no lie, I just got out of a coaching course that was all about self-development. 10 months ago, I wouldn't be on this show.
Oh, cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
And so,
but I got to throw this in there before you comment. Sorry, I've been interrupting you lately, Dominic. Sorry. I had to say this, Christine, but you will become a very well. Now, if you're not now, I'm not saying that you are now, but I find that people that go through those things have such a life experience that you become so valuable to us in this industry, right? Because you lived it. You've been through that, and it's so different than I've been in the industry now for a long, long time. The million years it feels like that I was working. The best time that I learned something is when I drove a restaurant right into the ground for 3 years. That's when I went through my like, holy cow, that I didn't know what it was like. I got a real taste of it. So I think you're going to just rock star it out more and more because you've been through that.
Yeah. And that's true. And we all, you know, we individually.
There's a lot of consultants aren't. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot of consultants out there who have not lived and breathed the hard times to help support. So just FYI. So thank you.
And I've had that experience by when I was building my business and figuring out what to call myself, I actually stopped calling myself a consultant for that reason. I had found in professionals that I was interacting with, they found that term to be very vague. And not only vague, I realized that they didn't trust. And I'm going to imagine that they didn't trust because they had a bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to call myself a consultant anymore. I'm a relationship builder. That is really what I do. And it's more fun to say.
I love that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Dominic?
Hey, Dominic? You
Yes.
okay?
No, I'm okay. Was that a question to me? Well, what do I think about it? Yeah. I think from where I was going with my question, when you said, okay, 10 months ago, you might not have been doing it. So was that might have been your, hey, I'm okay to do this, and I'm gonna, because you self-develop. In a lot of industries, we often don't invest in ourselves, period, right? We just don't. We're stuck, like you said, kind of with the blinders on, just working away because it's a grind, and there's no time for anything. But really, we have to step back and say we have to do this because that 3-year period of driving it into the ground might be 2 years if we don't, right? And we're not going to recover if we don't. So I think I'm stuck on, I think it's really hard in this industry. Jay, you say it all the time, but for people to say, I'm investing in me because that's going to benefit not only me, it's going to invest everybody around me. It's going to improve everybody around me. Or I'm going to come to some radical decisions that maybe I shouldn't be in this. Maybe this just isn't for me as well. That might be the conclusion of it. But investing in ourselves, or investing in a coach, or investing in, you say consulting. I've heard that's in our official corporate name, Canadian Food Safety Consulting Group Limited, because our accountant put it on our corporate incorporation. But everybody around me would say, take that out of your name. You don't want that in your name. It's like, because of the trust. Now, once they get to know you, then that distrust might come out of the picture, because, okay, well, no, you're not this big mega corp that's just looking to consult away for 5 years, right?
Yes, and within that coaching program, all those questions are valid, and I can understand that perspective because I come across it often. And what I've learned also within the coaching programs I've been in over time is the whole sales, right? Growing a business, how do you sell yourself, all the things. And I used to get caught up in we call them the objectives, right? The objections. Oh, I don't need that. I don't have time for that. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I no longer view that as a pressure on me.
Good.
That's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But what I do, I approach it again, building relationships first and foremost. You're either going to be my client or not. And what I'm going to do when you give me those objections, I'm going to say, I hear you. I understand. I might ask you another question.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
It's funny how the relationship in what you're doing, not even from the sales perspective, but maybe at the sales perspective, but it applies in every industry, in every job, be it you being a street cleaner, a salesperson, a call center agent. It doesn't matter. Like if I put it all back to communication and communication skills, which I think we're all just lacking. We're just not good at it. And it takes a long, long time to get it. So if you can build relationship, and I think, I don't know this of you because I don't know you, but I would think that it doesn't matter. Like, you're there because you want to help. So whether they end up doing work with you or not, you're there because you cared you know, you want to be able to help them. So you're gonna say after the first call that yes, they need you, or maybe you don't need me. I can't help you, right?
Yes, and yes, and you know what also happens, Dominic? If we decide, but if both parties decide that, you know, we're not the right fit, guess what ends up usually happening?
They call you 6 months later and say, "Come and work."
Well, they go, Christine. Oh, they don't give me some compliment of like an affirmation of that was a really good eye opener, right? And it can be so small, but I know I already did my job. I did my job, whether they paid me and I was a long-term client or not. I passed on that energy and got them feeling better about themselves.
Yeah, that's the right reason. I when we hear this, we're thrilled. Like Jay, I don't know how you pick it, man, but you do. You're like,
and
like, a lot of people that have been on our show have that same attitude, and they're they're doing good in whatever they're doing, because the vast majority of, whether they're your clients or not, or they're just people that you don't end up doing business, they appreciate that, right? Mm-hmm. See, if it was me that I had all those objections, because I'm hard-headed, 6 months later when I realized, holy shit, she was right on all this stuff, I'm the type of person who would call back and say, hey, sorry I was an ass, sorry I kicked you out, or whatever, and say, can you come back? Like, and usually it works out well, because people appreciate, in my case, well, at least you're honest to realize you're a jerk, right? So, and then the relationship ends up being good because we were honest with each other.
That's right.
So it's, I think it's cool.
Yeah. And I think the more that you're bringing that honesty in for us to reflect back, Christine, into the industry, we need that. And we got to get off of those, you know, when you ask a restaurant how things are, oh, business is great. And to your point, like you said earlier, and then you kind of dig into it and it's not great. And we need to get past that.
I like to ask the questions people aren't talking about.
The hard ones, usually, right?
Let's talk about the elephant in the room that we're not talking about. Right
now. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's got to be hard, though. Not everyone can do that, Christine. Not everyone can do
I love it. I love it because I'm so interested. I'm so interested about people. I swear I could have been a psychologist or something, but I do it for the hospitality industry because I literally live and breathe it. I know it like the back of my hand. I love to travel. I love to eat. I do all the fun things in hospitality and tourism. And I do it for us. All of us on this call right now, I do what I do. So when we travel, we have a better experience. And I can't cover the masses. I'm only one person, but I can do it one person at a time.
Until you get your own podcast. It's going to get a podcast.
And, you know, back to 10 months ago, you wouldn't do it, but today you're contemplating it.
I told Jay before you got on, the show's already named. It's called Hospitable, Not Despicable.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Go and trademark that. Start it today. Get it out there.
See, Christine, I told you too. Let's just do
make it. One, make a whole bunch of them and just that way. And you'll establish your presence and that cool name.
It is. Do it. Yeah, I was on the couch with my boyfriend and he just blurts it out. And I'm like, yeah.
Do it.
Nice. Yeah, don't make it like what mine was for the longest time.
I create one bad podcast title and he will not shush about it.
It was a great podcast. I liked it for the longest time.
I just couldn't say it, Christine, for like
there was 47 shows in it. Besides that, it was all good.
It was hard. Now we call our show not a podcast. Well, it's a part of the shtick. But no, it is. Christine, you should do that. And I just want to thank you again for taking the time today and to be on our show, share your experience, share what you're doing. I love how you are looking at things differently. It is different. So bear with me. You're going to have the people who are going, oh boy, you're different. And I love that. And I think that's so cool that we need more people like that, because there's enough people out there doing the same thing over and over again. And we need more people being disruptors and changing the way we look at it when we help businesses and help our industry out. We need more people like you. So you need a podcast, first of all, but you need to continue to do what you're doing. So thank you so much for taking the time to being on our show today. And now you can watch it later tonight too.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to play it.
What's the website?
You mentioned that this was aired earlier. You do that at the end, then they watch and they go, "Oh, I thought that was live."
It's okay. So Dominic, your question, how do you find me? My website needs help if anyone knows anybody.
I do feel people.
It's C. Smith Philosophy, so my philosophy on the world. csmithphilosophy.com, but more so on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there, and my inbox is always open.
Christine Smith, cool. Thanks so much, Christine. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks, Christine, and all the best. Yeah, we'll visit when me and Dominic do our world tour. We'll definitely come down. Oh yeah, I forgot, Dominic. We're doing a world tour too, so
okay.
We're gonna mention that too. The pop line. Didn't tell him about the pop line he's got coming out. He's got to do a world tour.
But you got to see, if you like battleships, the North Carolina is just not far from where Christine is, so it's cool.
It's awesome. Hey, Miss Christine, all the best. Thank you again for.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks so much.
Thank
you so much.
Take care.
There you go, Dominic. Another amazing guest that we have on our show.
Yeah, it's awesome, Jay.
What a week!
I like her.
It's been a busy week, dude.
I think it's cool.
It's brilliant.
And to her point, if anybody's ever seen Billions, have you seen the show Billions?
Yeah. Well, just wait a second.
But no,
our listeners are not that old.
What's that?
Like, you talking like the old show from the 80s?
No.
Richard Pryor?
No. That's no. The HBO the Showtime show called Billions.
Not that I know that there was a show in the 80s with Richard Pryor.
You shouldn't have named the actor's name. With Paul Giamatti and I don't know what the other guy's name was, but it's about these traders. Anyway, But it doesn't matter what the industry is. They have a coach.
Yes.
In their business, and at that business, they have an on-site psychologist to talk about with their staff what's going on. And to what she said, yeah, you say it's this, but I know it's something else.
Yeah.
Right? That's holding you back from whatever. From, in their case, it was trading more and doing better trades. It's like, what's going on, right? So to what you say, everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a podcast. I think we have to step back and look, be open to exploring at least that there's some help out there, and go and look at, to what you said at the end, something that's different from how you've normally done it, because that doesn't always work, obviously, right?
No, and I think the biggest thing that I took today as well, and excuse me, my tea's getting me. I said this on a meeting this morning, is that it's hard to go where you want to go until you find out where you're at. And a lot of the times that we don't really give us honest opinion, like Christine was saying, we don't really tell ourselves, or we aren't open and honest of where we stand, right? Yeah. We always have this perception where we're at or how things are until you have a realization of where you're at, what's going on. And that might come in many ways. It's hard to go anywhere. It's hard to continue to grow, right? You have to, because that becomes your starting point in my mind. When you have those moments of realizing where you're at, or where your business is, where your restaurant's going, or as a chef, where you are as a chef, when you know and you've had that here, okay, I know where I am now, boom, now I can move forward. But a lot of the time people are floating around in la la land, and it doesn't necessarily understand where they have to go, or they want to go somewhere, but they don't know where they're at today. So it's hard to start at something. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just find that we have to have those moments of realization of where we're at. It's no different than in business. Until you realize where your numbers are at, And how bad are they or how good they are, you can't move forward to improve them until you realize where you're at. So
And
pretty smart.
We've had people to that point. We've had people on our show that can help you have that in real time right now.
Exactly.
So that you know.
That's the thing I like with Christine
kind
is
it revolves around the same thing, right? That we had the leasing guy on that talked about, hey, if you wanted to know something around your lease or what the penalties might be because this opportunity came up, that's at your fingertips. The margin guys, Margin Edge. Hey, if you're on that program, those numbers are at you in real time. If you've hired a coach or you've hired a person like Christine, and I'm not saying business has got all this extra money to go throw at stuff, but the reality is a lot of these things are going to help you concentrate and improve your business. And unless you stop and look at them to say, this is what the benefit of this is going to be. It's going to save me time on inventory, or it's going to make me better with my staff, and I'm going to reduce my turnover. Like whatever those things are, if you embrace them and they do a good job and you do a good job of doing it, it's going to be to the benefit of your business.
It will. And I guarantee you, working with people like Christine was on our call today, is that it will increase your sales. I know it will. Yeah. I've seen it. I've lived it. And today, and that was like a bazillion years ago, but living today and working with restaurants and restaurateurs and coaches, doing these things increases your business's bottom line.
Yeah,
it does.
And even if you then the reality of all of that is if you get one $5,000 idea or one $10,000 idea, you've often paid for whatever you've hired the person for, the app for, whatever it is. The person we had on last night. Look at how much money, for $2,500 a year, whatever that number is, you're going to save that in the first month.
Exactly.
And it's like when people
and then recoup the money, not only save, but you're going to make more.
When they don't go out and search it, I've got a friend, he's at the Pizza Expo. He'll go to the National Restaurant Association show. He'll come to the RC show. He's always looking for ideas.
Yeah.
And he knows, right? There might be 70,000 out there that aren't good, but he's still searching for the one that is. And he hits them once in a while, right? And they benefit him, his outlook, and his business. So he's a firm believer in what we talk about. That's why I get along with him so well. But I would just encourage people you might think it's all fluff. Sit down for 5 minutes and think.
Go check it out.
I got to do something.
Just try it. I always say just try it too. Pilot, use the P word, pilot it and try it, and you'll be amazed. But anyways, Dominic, there you go. That was a big week. Great week of guests.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, about 100 on it. And
thanks for all your hard work. You do a good job. And you know what? Those pop cans are pretty nice, man.
Wait till you drink the Tutti Frutti I'm getting you.
Yeah, that's the one I want. And then I'm going to get the non-alcoholic gin in some of them because I'll be able to say, hey, here's some gin.
But Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti gin. There you go, right? They're called Tutti Frutti gin.
Shh, don't tell them.
Tutti Frutti gin. Can you say that? You better check if we can use that. That's really good.
We're using it. What do you mean we got to check? We're doing
it. Can you use Tutti Frutti? Is that a trademark?
Yeah. Who's going to say anything?
Yeah. The guy's 100 years old that came up with that saying. He's gone.
Mr. Fruity?
Exactly. Mr. Fruity. Tutti Frutti vodka. I love it. Anyways, all the best. Thanks to everyone else that joined us. And
thanks
on again Monday next week. Got another big week. Actually, we're in person doing next week, doing a couple shows in your office.
In Calgary, yeah.
But my mics are bringing the work down.
I got to order some stuff and get our studio going here, Jeff.
Better get cleaned up too, buddy. Anyways, all the best. Cheerio.
Thank you. Thanks.
See you later.
Look at those cans, man. Wow.
Those are awesome cans.
Look at those cans.